Yo guys, and just like that we've reached the final race on the calendar, meaning this is the last in our race setup series. But don't worry, I won't go quiet after this. I do have a long list of content that I've both made and that I'm planning to make over the coming days and weeks. But let's focus on Abu Dhabi before I talk about other F1 22 content. Although last year's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was the first to showcase the new track layouts, they never made it into F1 2021. This year's game is the first chance we get to properly race around the new Abu Dhabi track, and I'm happy to say the changes make the track much more enjoyable. The slow and clunky hairpin and turns at the end of the second straight have both been remodelled. Now they're much faster and more flowing, and there has also been reprofiling work done on a lot of the corners in the final sector, which also increases enjoyability. But let's look at how these changes affect our car setup. The Aero Setup for Abu Dhabi is on a knife edge for which direction we go in. You'll see many time trial setups with higher front wing aero than rear. This will allow you to get better turn into most corners, however you won't have the rear stability needed for consistent lap times throughout a race. For this reason, I've gone with ever so slightly prioritised rear aero. Go for 19 front wing and 22 on the rear. I've lowered both on and off throttle differential to 55. This helps with rotation at slower speed, which mitigates some of the lack of front downforce this setup will have. And it also helps you accelerate without breaking traction from the slower corners, such as turn 7, which is notoriously difficult to accelerate out of. The suspension geometry is set up purely for straight line speed and minimal drag. Go for -2.5 front camber, -1 rear camber, 0.05 front toe and 0.2 on the rear. For the suspension setup, I've gone for a stiff front end for good responsiveness. We'll need this to be able to get the car turned into the medium and high speed corners. Then a softer rear end will help create a stable car. Go for 7 on both front suspension and ARB, and 2 on both rear suspension and ARB. For the ride height, opt for 3 and 4. I've set the brake pressure to 100% as per normal and the brake bias to 50%. And for the tyres, front wear can be a problem, especially now that the revised track layout increases the amount of strain put on your front tyres in particular. I've kept the front tyre pressures lower than the rear as they will feel the most pain. Go for 23.8 on both fronts and 22.0 on both rears. Abu Dhabi used to always be a track I didn't look forward to ending the season on. However, the track changes have made it a much more flowing and enjoyable circuit to race on. This low downforce setup approach will give you a car that's more than capable of challenging throughout a race. As I mentioned, this is the final race setup in this series, but if you want more F1 22 content, subscribe to my channel, as I am planning on releasing a lot more daily F1 22 content over the coming weeks. If you have any suggestions for styles of content that you'd like, drop your suggestion in the comments below. I do read all of the comments I get, so please leave a note down there. But for now guys, enjoy this setup and all of the other setups, and I'll see you on track.